Okay, this is a video on how to set up and get started on your posterized painting. To get started, I'm going to need my background with my traced community leader on top from my original traced image. I'm going to need my photo of my community leader as a reference. And I'm going to need my graphite shined transfer paper map. I've gone ahead and done every single area. I've painted every single area based off of my original reference photo in the grays, the whites, and the blacks that need to be there. So every area that's black, I've mapped it out. I've said it's black. Every area that is the darkest gray, I went in and I mapped out where those were. The middle gray, they're all here. There's so many details in this one that I knew I was going to get confused. And I highly recommend that you start off with this detailed map so that when you go into your painting, you're not going in blind. You have a map right here. So I'm looking at this shape on her cheek, and I'm like, what color is it? Oh boy, okay, I have to look at the reference. It's right here on the map. It says it right here. It's white. So I'm going in right there with the white. The map helps avoid confusion, and I'm going to get as many things right as possible. Another thing to avoid confusion is by working closely alongside your reference image, okay? So I have my reference image right here. I'm going to fold it and tape it, and I'm going to start with this side of her face, okay? And consider this, instead of thinking, okay, I'm painting a face, consider it as, okay, I'm painting the shapes that make up a face. So I'm starting off with my light white. I'm not going in with the darkest darks yet. So start light first. All right, my reference image is right here. It's going to be very easy for me to reference it, and I have my map right alongside me. Okay, so I'm getting my palette out with my prepared grays. If you have not prepared your grays, there is another YouTube video below on how to make your grays. I have 3 grays, a black and a white on my palette. My black is clean, my white is clean. And I have my 3 grays. This is a palette place where I was mixing my grays. I'm disregarding that. I have a paintbrush here with me, and I have a water bucket, and I also have a paper towel to my right. Okay. All right, I'm going in first with my whites. I'm starting with this area. Again, as I said in the gray mixing video, we should not be putting paint up to the metal at all on the paintbrush. It's all going on the bristles of the brush and nowhere else. All right, so with a fine hand, as if I am holding a pencil, I'm going to hold my paintbrush and go in and start in the area that should be white. I'm taking my time. I'm using a steady hand, and I'm holding my background with my other hand that I'm not painting with. Because I'm using such a dark background, I am going to have to go in with a few more coats. But I'm putting down a base layer so that the background is covered and it'll be a good foundation for my next coats of white. Okay. After I move on from this next coat, I'm going on to the next white shape. The next biggest white shape I see are this area on her face, the area on her teeth, and this area on her chin. And I can double check that on my map that I've created. Okay, these are the white areas I need to focus on. There's teeth, chin, and her face, her forehead. All right, so I'm gonna go into the chin first. Again, holding the paintbrush as if it were a pencil. I'm going very carefully around each side of the shape on that chin. And when I'm thinking about painting her chin, I'm not thinking about it as if it were a chin. I'm thinking about it as if it were just a shape. I'm painting shapes, not a face. Painting a face sounds intimidating, and in the end that is what we are doing actually. But to make this simpler, to make this more simple and to make the intimidation factor go way down, we're just painting shapes. Okay. All right, again, that's a first coat. Doesn't have to be perfect. We can always fix it, touch it up in our next coats. That looks good. Okay, so now I'm going into her forehead area. I'm double checking just to make sure, okay, all of these areas are white. And it goes all the way over here. I'm going slow. Around the edges, I'm trying to steady my hand by making sure I'm either holding my hand or holding the background. For me, it works best to hold the background. Okay, and if this is an area where you have a lot of space to cover and you have a flat brush, you can go in with your flat brush to cover more space quickly. Again, I'm holding that paintbrush with a steady hand as if it were a pencil, regardless of the size of the brush. I'm always holding it like that. I'm never holding a brush like this. I'm never holding a brush like this. I'm always holding it like a pencil. Okay? Another thing to note is that I'm not holding my brush up here in painting. I'm always close, as if I were writing with a pencil. Okay, and another thing I just noticed myself doing is I was checking to make sure that this shape is correct and that I'm supposed to go all the way to this edge with the white, and I'm doing so by double checking on my reference image.